Hi, welcome. I'm WA. Today I'm going to demo a watercolor seascape. I hope that it's easy enough for you to follow along if you're a beginner or haven't really tried your hand at painting water. Hopefully this will be a demo where you can learn a few techniques and apply it to your own watercolor painting journey. For this demo, I am using Hobby Lobby's Master Touch watercolor paper. This is my favorite paper for studies, for work that I'm not really sure about. You know, this is where I try techniques, where I try new experimentations on my watercolors. I am using a 15 by 11 pad, which I've cut into half. So I'm working on 11 by 7.5 inches. What I've done to the paper is taped it down on all four sides to a board using basic masking tape. My watercolor palette is here on my left. On my right, sorry, on my right. The brushes I'm using is a large flat brush and a smaller size flat brush. Sorry, new camera angle. A round size 3 and 1. These are not standard sizes on these brushes. This number 3 would regularly be like size 8 perhaps. A texture brush. I think these are hog bristles, hog brushes. Perfect for creating texture in watercolor paintings. And a pencil and eraser. You're gonna need a jar of water and something to blot off your brush in, maybe a paper towel or a regular towel. You might want to use a ruler. I don't always use rulers to map out my horizons, but you can. For this seascape, I want the water to be more predominant than the sky. You're gonna have the sky, water, and sand. It's just a basic seascape. So you might want to check where the halfway point of your paper is, and maybe just an inch above that. When I was taught painting, we were taught to always paint standing up, but the way this is set up, it's not ideal. I can't really see what I'm doing over the camera. Now the sand is going to be a bit tilted, maybe like that. You don't want the sand to be the main focus point. The water is. So perhaps just like that. You don't have to be too exact. And also you don't want your lines to be too dark. So I'm just going to erase a little bit of that harsh line. For skies, I like using Cobalt Blue, but on my work in studio palette, I don't have a Cobalt Blue. So I'm gonna take the Ultramarine, a big juicy wash, Cobalt Teal, Cerulean Blue. I like mixing the three. The sky is going to be two colors. It's going to be blue and with a hint of yellow. I am using yellow ochre, a light wash of yellow ochre. Okay. Moving on to the large flat brush. What you want to do is wet the paper. Just like that. We're going to be working wet on wet for this guy. If you're not using 100% cotton paper, you might want to be aware that adding too much water to wood pulp paper may cause you a bit of trouble, but if you're just glazing the paper, you'll be fine. So loading your brush with that yellow, make a few strokes. You don't want to cover the paper, the sky with yellow, just a few strokes like that. Rinse off your brush, pick up that blue. You're going to be leaving white spaces on the paper to create the clouds. So cover up your edges. Remember that yellow and blue mix together to make green, so don't over mix it. I think that's good enough. Clean off your brush, dry it, work those edges here. That's fine. The clouds are moving in that direction. You're going to let that dry before moving on to the water. While the sky finishes drying, you're going to make your mix for the water. I'm grabbing a little bit of the Perylene Green on my palette, putting it on the side here, and incorporating a little bit of that green into the blue. Like that. To make a lighter green to go here on the background. I'm here in an awkward angle. The microphone is right in front here, and the camera setup is like right here. My hand is, it's a little bit hard to reach here. Okay, you're gonna load up your brush, and you're just gonna work in fast strokes here. Let me see. Grab that ultramarine. You'll see that your brush naturally will leave open spaces in the paper. Leave that. If you notice that you're covering too much of the water of the paper, just go in with your brush and lift. Lift and blot on your paper towel. Again, remember, if you're working with not cotton paper, you might have to be careful with doing this, or else you're going to rip your paper. But the Master's Touch, I found that it's really resilient for wet on wet techniques like this. Grab a little bit of that yellow ochre again. You're going to start here at the bottom and then move upwards. You want the majority of the pigment on the bottom of the paper and then move upwards like that into the water. While that sand is still wet, grab the texture brush that you have. Get the yellow ochre with a little bit of that blue to create like a dirty yellow. And then you're just gonna stipple, dab that brush into that wet sand. You're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna do another layer of that. With the smaller flat brush, we're gonna mix the mountains now. Ultramarine and burnt umber to create like a neutral color here. So we're gonna follow that horizon line. Again, the awkward camera angles here. You're just going to create small mountains in the back. Clean off your brush, dry it, and then just gently pull that color down. If your brush has too much water, you're gonna pull too much. Just like that. Going back to that sand. You're gonna dirty that yellow until you make a light gray. Grab that burnt umber again. And that's it. If maybe you've never done a water piece or a watercolor piece and this is your first time trying it, I hope that it was easy enough for you to follow along and use this as an opportunity to not be afraid of putting brush to paper, water to paint. It doesn't have to be perfect your first time or even your 10th time or your 100th time. This is your time to practice, you know, see what you could have done better for next time. Maybe you need to improve on a technique. Maybe you realize, hey, I've improved on that technique that I've been struggling with. Thank you for joining me this time, and until next time, bye. Take care.